Tikkun Chatzos. What is the background of Tikkun Chatzos? When was it performed? How is it performed? And why don't we perform it today? And is there anything today that we should do in memory of Tikkun Chatzos? It's recorded in Reishis Chochmah, in Sha'ar Kedusha, Sha'ar 7, that Tikkun Chatzos used to be performed by the masses. It wasn't something performed by only the tzaddikim and righteous individuals, but it was performed even by simple folk. This custom is recorded in Shulchan Aruch, as it is written in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, that even though we stated that each person may sleep up until dawn, this is only the conduct of a Beini, while a Yireh Shamayim, a God-fearing Jew, is to awaken by midnight in order to recite Tikkun Chatzos. And what does Tikkun Chatzos involve? It involves the reciting of a special prayer that laments the destruction of our temple and the exile of the Shekhinah, as the auspiciousness of midnight is a time that also Hashem laments the destruction. And for this reason, the prayer of lamentation is more accepted before Hashem. Interestingly, this auspiciousness of the time of Chatzos was only revealed in later generations based on the teachings of Kabbalah. And until then, it was not known that you should awaken specifically by Chatzos, and people would awaken towards any one of the end of the three Ashmuras of the night, which is any one of the 1/3 of the night, as each night is split to 3/3. So is recorded in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch in the first version that he does not mention specifically awakening by Chatzos. However, based on Kabbalah, later they understood that specifically midnight is the auspicious time. The Alter Rebbe goes as far as saying the Shulchan Aruch that it's proper to prepare a rooster, or in today's terms an alarm clock, to awaken one from one's sleep, so he's able to wake up for Tikkun Chatzos no matter where he is. What was the order of Tikkun Chatzos? What would they do? So people would awake close to midnight, sit barefoot near the mezuzah of the doorpost, place ashes on the forehead in the area of the head tefillin, and then recite the paragraph of Lasum La'ov Leitziyeh. One would then stand up and recite the verses of the Snari Me'ofer Kumi. After the Tikkun was completed, if it was still before midnight, then one studies Mishnayos and practical halacha. After midnight, one would say passages from the Zohar, which discuss the prayers that were read in the Tikkun. This was the process of Tikkun Chatzos. Why today is Tikkun Chatzos no longer done? So the majority of Jewry today does not perform Tikkun Chatzos. And this is as well the Chabad custom that we do not say it, as is recorded in a Sikh of the Rebbe 5 of 1951, in an answer to Rav Yitzchak Hutner, and so is also said in a Sikh of the Rebbe Rashab that today, meaning in his time, it was only done by the great Chassidim and not by the average common folk. So some Paiskin, the Shel Avram, writes that since the sleeping schedules changed, consequently also the Tikkun Chatzos schedule changed, and we're no longer really able to do it to wake up in the middle of the night. Especially today where we're usually up and we haven't even gone to sleep. Regarding the stages of the Chabad custom, so the Alter Rebbe in the Siddur writes that every person should perform Tikkun Chatzos, and it should be performed with a minyan. And this was the custom in the times of the Alter Rebbe, that all the Chassidim would perform Tikkun Chatzos with a minyan in shul, as written in the letter of the Rebbe Rayas. As times went on, Chassidim began saying Tikkun Chatzos alone without a minyan. Then the custom became not to do so every day, and then the custom became not to do so at all. All this is recorded in different sikhs of the Rebbeim. Interestingly, it's brought down a tradition from the Baal Shem Tov that he nullified the performance of Tikkun Chatzos from the common folk and instituted it to be said only by those that can properly lament the exile of the Shekhinah. As well, it's brought in the Baal Shem Tov's name that he had purified the first half of the night and it no longer needs Tikkun Chatzos. What people do not really know is how the Rebbe related to the idea of Tikkun Chatzos even today, and the Rebbe stated that although today we don't perform Tikkun Chatzos, nevertheless, if it is already near Chatzos, one should use the time to learn Chassidus or learn a Sikha or perform a Cheshbon Nefesh. So even though we don't do the actual recital and process of Tikkun Chatzos, one should use the auspicious of the time to do a Cheshbon Nefesh, learn Chassidus, and as is Mekubal by Chassidim, that when we say Kriyish Mashal Amita, the service of Kriyish Mashal Amita takes the place of the service of Tikkun Chatzos. Thus, Tikkun Chatzos has not been completely abolished today. It's been slightly swerved and changed to be performed in a different light.